long after the election.
From an asteroid to the outback, the successful mission hoping to unlock our solar system's secrets.
And see the new 3D tourism campaign helping locals discover the Swan Valley's secrets. Just a click away.
Live from Perth, 7 News with Angela Tsun and Tim McMillan.
Good evening, welcome to 7 News. Witnesses have described their heartbreak after a Christmas toy delivery turned deadly in front of them.
One motorcyclist was killed, 3 injured and tears shed in the fiery aftermath on the Mitchell Freeway as organisers vowed their charity work will ride on.
Fire on the freeway. The worst outcome born from the best intentions.
It was quite a horrific scene to see. It's life-changing. I don't think I'll ever forget this.
Ashes marred the anniversary of the 45th Salvation Army toy run when a 39-year-old woman was killed and 3 others injured in a crash that halted hundreds. Cameron Ranger was just metres behind. He dodged debris and donated gifts on the road to offer what help he could.
Those fluffy toys in the crash were strewn everywhere. People were dressed in Christmas clothing, which was meant to be seen as quite merry and happy, but it was just mixed that with carnage, and it was just a very sad moment.
One of 1,700 bikers there to raise money for underprivileged kids. Instead, he found himself calling 000 and performing emergency first aid.
It was heart-stopping. Just seeing that first bit of carnage, it was the worst. It was way worse than I could have imagined.
The northbound stretch of the highway will have to remain closed until the major crash unit completes its initial part of the investigation that will begin to determine how this charity ride went so tragically wrong.
The aftermath shut the Mitchell Freeway, traffic backed up for kilometres. As news of a comrade's death cut short celebrations at the bike run's final destination.
It's just gut-wrenching to all of us. We don't know what to do.
Most choosing to make an early exit, but vowing to return.
It has got a black mark now, but I'll still keep going on it every year. I won't stop.
Ben Downey is at Royal Perth Hospital where 2 of the 3 injured are being treated. Ben, how are they?
And a 59-year-old woman is in a stable condition after coming off her Suzuki motorcycle, but a 67-year-old man, he's critical, fighting for life in the ICU. And his passenger, a 56-year-old woman, she's been treated at the Joondalup Health Campus and is in a stable condition. Now, the organisers of this event, they're determined to make certain some good comes out of this tragedy. They're already investigating the possibility of a second charity or tribute ride that might raise further money for those who desperately need it this Christmas. Tim?
Thank you, Ben. There's been an extraordinary border breach at Sydney Airport where 2 German travellers were able to fly straight to Melbourne, skipping hotel quarantine. The bungle was only noticed by chance. Premier Mark McGowan says it proves he's right to be cautious on the eve of a decision whether to reopen WA's border.
Contact tracing confusion at a Perth tourist hotspot. Some ignored the QR code register. Others couldn't work it out.
It hasn't worked here, so I'm not sure what's going on.
One business owner in Fremantle didn't even know it existed until we showed him. Kinks in the system are still being ironed out, just days away from the arrival of more interstate travellers who don't have to quarantine.
There was some problem with SMSs being sent. So for 15 minutes, I'm advised the system was down.
A small hiccup compared to a shocking quarantine breach. A 53-year-old woman and her 15-year-old son flew from Germany via Tokyo into Sydney, then bypassed supposedly strict security and got onto a flight to Melbourne, carrying 176 passengers and crew.
A comprehensive public health response is now underway.
The pair only discovered after being overheard by security.
The police officer has admitted the mistake that he didn't check the appropriate exemption forms.
Well, it's not the gold standard, but fortunately, both of them were not positive.
Those on board the Sydney flight have now been ordered to stay home. The lifting of WA's hard borders to New South Wales and Victoria hangs in the balance.
We'll wait till tomorrow to see all of the testing results out of New South Wales.
Measures like this might just save lives in the event of a breach here. The Premier says businesses that don't comply are putting the community at risk. Anyone caught without a contact register faces fines of up to $250,000. Those in charge could even spend a year behind bars. A small change now, so shops, restaurants and our border can stay open. Emily Baker, 7 News.
There are calls for the Prime Minister to step in and overturn a decision to disband the Special Air Service's 2nd Battalion. It was one of the recommendations of the inquiry into alleged war crimes, but 7 News can reveal that decision is tonight on hold as members threaten to walk out.
Graduation day at the Defence Force Academy in Canberra. Young guns marching into an army marred by allegations of war crimes in Afghanistan.
It's been a particularly difficult year, we know.
Next Tuesday, a parade was due to be held in Perth. A farewell to the SAS Regiment's 2nd Squadron, disbanded following the Brereton war crimes report.
To adjust and then re-raise a different squadron.
But 7 News can reveal the parade has been cancelled as about 60 members of the SAS threaten to quit. Some discharge notices have already been submitted.
They're absolutely outraged at this continuation of the collective punishment that they are all being subjugated to.
It's further backlash from within the ADF community over the handling of the Afghanistan inquiry and follows widespread outrage over the decision to strip the Meritorious Unit Citation, a special award given to hundreds of special forces.
The collateral damage effect that it is having on our veteran community is enormous and not being taken into account.
Defence says it still plans to disband the regiment's 2nd Squadron when the implementation plan is fully developed, but members are now calling for the decision to be overturned.
The Prime Minister has to step in. The veteran community is hurting. Members of the Special Forces are hurting.
And crying out for support. Jennifer Beshwati, 7 News.
The Premier, flush with post-COVID cash, has put a new women and babies hospital for Perth at the centre of his re-election pitch. It'll replace the decaying King Edward Memorial Hospital, doctors say is no longer fit for purpose. State political editor Jeff Parry reports.
Staff at the 104-year-old King Edward Memorial Hospital delivered more than 6,000 babies this year. Little Bailey, one of the newest.
He's a tender, 16 hours old or something. Oh, wow.
And little Charlotte, whose mum and dad, Adam and Susan, produced their little COVID baby during quarantine after their return from London.
First child, so...
Yeah, well, that is really exciting.
Yeah.
But the days of newborns at King Edward are numbered. Today, the Premier delivered a $1.8 billion replacement. That's thanks to a thumping iron ore price, boosting his election year surplus to $2.2 billion. Work doesn't start till 2023, but planning is already underway.
We will have the best women's and babies hospital anywhere in Australia and perhaps the world.
The plan is to move it here between G and E blocks at the QE2 Medical Centre. All the facilities of the hospital it replaces and more, housed in a building up to 10 stories high. And it will lose the name King Edward.
An elderly member of the gentrified royalty. So obviously all these things can be considered into the future.
Opposition leader Zach Kirkup promised to match the government's spending on a new women's and babies hospital and made his own pitch to 5,500 small businesses promising payroll tax relief.
It'll cost around $100 million a year over the next 5 years, which is why we talk about this as being a $500 million package.
Leaving voters to do the math. Jeff Parry, 7 News.
A driver has walked out of jail a day after being charged over a fatal crash in Coolbellup. Tributes were all that was left at the scene today, where a father of 4 was killed on Friday night. The driver of a Hyundai sedan is accused of hitting the motorcyclist and has been charged with dangerous driving causing death, but was last night released on bail after raising $10,000 surety.
2 men who drowned while trying to save their children in dangerous surf on the Sunshine Coast are being called heroes. A 9-year-old boy they saved has been released from hospital following the family tragedy at Tiwa Beach. 2 men, including the boy's father, drowned while trying to save children who'd been caught in a rip.
US President Donald Trump has ramped up his claims of election fraud at a rally in a state he lost at last month's historic vote. What supporters called a victory rally comes as most in the president's party stayed quiet on the question of who won the election.
With a signature fist pump, President Trump leaves the White House jetting to Georgia for his first rally since the November 3rd election. Immediately questioning the count that delivered Democrat Joe Biden a win here by 12,000 votes.
You know, we won Georgia, just so you understand.
Election fraud claims rejected in court case after court case, dominant in Donald Trump's 100 minutes with the microphone.
They cheated and they rigged our presidential election, but we will still win it.
At one point sharing a lengthy montage of video clips to back the voter fraud claims.
It just doesn't add up.
There's no way Biden would have won the presidency.
We're going to follow the Constitution, and Trump will be our president still.
My president has a spine and a backbone, and he has stood up for the American people, and I'm going to stand up for him.
The president campaigning for 2 Republican senators in a runoff race that could shift power in the US Congress. This as the Washington Post reports only 27 of 249 Republicans in Washington acknowledge Joe Biden won the election, and President Trump wants their names. Hours before he arrived here in Georgia, the president was on the phone to the governor, urging him to help overturn the state's election result. Party officials are worried, though, these voter fraud claims could backfire and discourage Republicans from turning out to vote at all in this Senate race.
Thank you, Georgia. Get out and vote.
In Valdosta, Georgia, Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
It was a history-making mission that came to its successful completion right here in the Australian outback. A Japanese space capsule this morning making a perfect landing, carrying samples from an asteroid and potential clues about the origins of our solar system.
After 6 years in space and travelling billions of kilometres, the Hayabusa 2 space capsule is finally back home on planet Earth.
The capsule is separating or not.
After making a dramatic entrance, creating a giant fireball across the sky, this is what scientists recovered from the capsule after a perfect landing in the Woomera prohibited area, 400 kilometres north of Adelaide, early this morning. Inside, samples from Ryugu, a 4.5 billion-year-old asteroid, which will help scientists study the origin and evolution of the solar system.
I'm happy now, of course, but it's more like feeling really relieved, you know. I think we now have lived up to the expectation of all my friends all over the world.
Not only is this an incredible scientific feat, the landing also cements Australia's place as a trusted partner in space. It's hoped our help with this mission will lead to more otherworldly work with international counterparts.
We're just proud to be doing a little bit to support your
well,
team.
Thank you for your help. It had to be Woomera.
Your team has been fantastic, so big congratulations from Australia.
Thank you very much.
As for the Hayabusa 2 spacecraft, it's now off to explore yet another asteroid. Its expected arrival, 2031. Elise Baker, 7 News.
A tricky clean-up is underway in Melbourne's northwest, with dozens of homes still blanketed by tumbleweeds. But what was first a novel event has now become a fight between residents and the local council.
It's a mess so big it's almost impossible to clean up. One of Australia's worst weeds, overwhelming dozens of houses in Hillside.
I don't know what to say, it's a disaster.
Residents helpless to stop it against strong winds. Some piled it into bags and bins. One man filled 47 large bags overnight. Today, even the bags were still on the move in gusty winds as the grass swirled and settled in more front and backyards, balconies and playgrounds.
It's in every tree, every branch. I can't even see my dogs walking through it.
Other neighbourhood pets were confused or getting used to new bedding. Darren Camilleri slowly transformed his backyard back to normal.
It's been a nightmare. Been up since 6 o'clock this morning trying to get rid of some of this stuff.
The problem is it's so light and fluffy that you can do your best to clean it up, but then a gust of wind comes and brings a whole new load back.
The council should be making sure that the farmland is maintained correctly.
I ring up every year to cancel to get this burnt off and no one does nothing about it.
Melton Council says it will help clean up, although it doesn't know its source. But the weeds are largely from paddocks managed by Michael Tyquin.
I feel sorry for them, but we've tried everything we can here to control the tussocks.
He says the seeds are coming from a neighbour's paddocks and the council won't help.
I've tried to work with them for years.
Paul Dowsley, 7 News.
You're watching 7 News live from Perth. Coming up, what sparked a toxic factory fire that sent smoke across our suburbs.
Plus, Bikie birthday. Charges laid following a massive police operation in our northeast.
Plus, buildings burn, violence flares. Another wild weekend in Paris. See the pictures.
The key piece of American history feared lost in a raging church inferno.
Coming up in sport at 6:45, a big setback for Australia 11 days before the first test. And the Wallabies' historic national anthem sung in the Eora language.
And the new 3D campaign to lure locals to some of Perth's hidden gems. That's next.
Seven News, brought to you by Crown.
Crown has all your summer celebrations sorted with endless outdoor dining options, mouth-watering meals and plenty of fun in the sun. So get together this summer and live a little again at Crown.
The Big Bash Fast Start. 7 nights in a row at 7 on 7 May.
That is unbelievable.
It's the biggest start ever, with every team in action.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible. They're coming from around the world to face our homegrown heroes.
It's on fire now, Chris Lynn. Maxi hits that. That's gone all the way.
Every night, every team get together and get starstruck.
The title goes to the Sydney Sixers.
The Big Bash starts Thursday on 7 May.
Make more of the things you want possible with Cash Converters. Life made possible.
Oh, should I? With great flavour and 50% less fat, it's easy to say, oh yes. Go on. Say yes to new Smith's Oven Baked.
With RAC, we've got everything under the one roof to look after you and your car, like getting a loan for a new or used car, then keeping it on the road. If you need new tyres or a new battery, we'll be there. We're also here for car insurance. And we'll come to your rescue. Doing more for you and your car, plus giving you great everyday savings? That's the power of membership. RAC, for the better.
Shoes and socks! Shoes and socks! Shoes and socks!
Willie.
Fantastic furniture. Find your fantastic.
Introducing our signature engagement ring collection, 100% Australian designed and handcrafted in our studio workshop. Choose from rare Argyle pink, white or champagne diamonds. Solid gold diamonds, the only choice.
Healthy skin starts with new Cetaphil Face with hyaluronic acid. It helps protect the health of sensitive skin with cleansers and moisturisers that give gentle, effective daily care. Healthy skin starts with Cetaphil.
We're announcing something big. The big deal is now on at Mazda, and we're putting value on 2020 plate vehicles front and centre, like CX-5 Max from $32,990 drive away. Search Mazda offers today.
Tasty, affordable and delicious. What's for dinner in the next break with Coles?
Only a few minor charges resulted from a big police operation in Bayswater targeting an outlaw motorcycle gang's 50th birthday celebration. Gang crime detectives say one person was found with a weapon and an unlicensed car with false number plates was stopped. Dozens of officers closely monitored the Coffin Cheaters clubhouse, but there was no major trouble.
Firefighters still don't know what sparked a massive inferno at a warehouse in Welshpool. 1,000 litres of fuel and liquefied gas fanned the flames at the tyre recycling factory on Friday morning, sending huge plumes of thick toxic smoke across our suburbs. The blaze has left the owner with a $1 million damage bill.
Fresh violence has erupted in Paris. Locals angry at new laws aimed at restricting police scrutiny in the media. Dozens of people were injured in the mayhem as President Macron comes under increased pressure to back down.
The French call them casseurs, hoodlums who caused chaos, damaging stores, torching cars and targeting police. A second weekend of protests in Paris and across France, often peaceful as thousands marched, but at times violent as hundreds of hooded agitators infiltrated the crowds. Dozens were arrested, many were injured as police used tear gas to clear the streets. French President Emmanuel Macron is pressing ahead with plans to restrict the circulation of images of police in the media and online, banning the broadcast of videos like this, allegedly showing police brutality.
I took a hit from a truncheon by a riot policeman, which broke my neck. Since then, I've been scared of police.
We're heading towards an increasingly significant limitation of freedom, which is absolutely unjustified.
The legislation is now being rewritten.
D'ordre moral.
President Macron this week denied he's limiting people's freedoms and disputes claims French police are institutionally racist, but it's doing little to quell the anger in France or the violence that often follows. In London, Sarah Greenhalgh, 7 News.
An inferno has destroyed one of New York City's oldest sites. A huge blaze engulfed a historic 19th century church in Manhattan's East Village. Inside was New York's Liberty Bell, which rang to mark the birth of America in 1776. It's also rung for the inauguration and death of every US president. The bell is yet to be recovered, but church officials hope it can be saved. 4 firefighters were injured, bringing the blaze under control.
A daredevil has climbed a Spanish skyscraper without any safety ropes or equipment. 20-year-old Englishman George King scaled the 33-storey Agbar Tower in Barcelona unaided. He free-climbed a London high-rise last year, which landed him a stint behind bars. King says he made the climb to spread some festive cheer.
There's a new way to discover some of Perth's hidden gems, and you don't have to leave your couch. But Swan Valley tourism operators are hoping you'll want to, launching a 3-dimensional campaign to lure locals out to make up for the pandemic's shortfall.
There's a buzz in the air, and you don't have to drive far to discover it.
You never knew it was here?
No, didn't have a clue. Hardly off the beaten track, Great Northern Highway and West Swan Road are full of accidental secrets, so a new website has been launched. Using 3D cameras to map the Swan Valley's wineries, restaurants, galleries to help visitors map their trips.
So let's go and see what's on the menu.
And help local businesses recover from a big COVID hit.
We were probably about 80% down on what we were last year.
The House of Honey breeds bees locally, puts them to work pollinating WA wildflowers and plants, and packages the sticky product on site.
And so it actually does taste like watermelon.
Rupert and Kim's romance blossomed over honeycomb.
And I was, oh, I've never met a beekeeper before.
Now they share 3 million staff.
They go on lots of holidays, so they go as far as Eneabba and all the way down to Walpole. And that's how we create all of these different honeys.
130 venues have signed up to the campaign that's self-driven and privately funded, aiming to show the tourism industry the technology works and show locals what we've been missing in our own backyard, 30 minutes from the CBD.
We've got so many hidden gems. The small businesses that are hidden away a little bit, they need the exposure and they need the help, especially now.
Event Space 3D is hoping the government will jump on board their next target to help city folk wander out closer. Jessica Page, 7 News.
After the break, who should pay the City of Perth's $7 million inquiry bill?
Plus, the Queen joins the vaccine queue. As the man behind the COVID jab says, it's not just about you.
The push to convince investors to back businesses run by women.
Why these Perth pets are in witness protection and how you can help.
And later, the coral spawning described as a breeding snowstorm. The incredible pictures still to come.
Enigma of the Dark. The case of the Claremont serial killer. The compelling new book by the West Australian's Tim Clark. Buy your copy now.
I sincerely hope someone has died.
We believe it may have been murder.
Bring me facts. The evidence is right there in front of you.
This is my favourite part. We're off to catch the culprit.
I imagine you want to know why.
Worth asking a question.
What did you think of the ending?
The ending was marvelous, moving, touching.
Well, I can't think of any other way it could have happened. Can you?
There's one place you can piece together all the great British mysteries. Here's a clue.
Hi guys, Michael Weldon here. Tonight's What's for Dinner is all about an Aussie classic way of cooking, the barbecue. It's all about getting outside, firing the barbie up and cooking for those people that you love. So tonight we're going to make a little bit of a festive inspired dish, a pork and peach skewer with a beautiful peach glaze. The first thing we need to do is start our glaze. I'm going to put a pot on, medium high heat, and we're going to add in a nice drizzle of olive oil. And then into that we're going to add in diced onion. So we're going to fry up our onion. Once that starts to soften, we're going to add in our aromats. So we've got cumin seed, coriander seed, and some dried chili flakes. Add in a little pinch of salt to help bring all the flavour together. And then we can go in with our peaches. Just chopped up, seeds removed. Now to our glazed ingredients, we're going to add just some sugar to help turn it into a nice glaze, and when it cooks to give you that nice caramelisation. And then a good splash of apple cider vinegar. Now, we just want to simmer this until all those peaches are nice and soft. While that happens, we're going to make our skewers. So I've got some beautiful pork shoulder here, 800 grams, diced up. All I then do is start threading our pork onto our skewers. And then I've got some nice slices of peach and some little red onion petals. And I reckon you can agree that's a pretty cool looking skewer. Perfect for the barbecue, nice, summery and fresh. I'm going to keep skewering these guys. I'm going to cook this glaze down until it's all soft. I'll blend it, I'll take these skewers and I'll meet you guys outside on the barbecue and show you how to cook it. So our skewers are ready. You can see pork, peach, red onion all on there. We've made our glaze. I've just drizzled these in olive oil, seasoned them with a little bit of salt. And all you want to do is once you've got them on the barbie, just give them a little paste with your glaze. And then every time you turn, you give them a nice little glaze until you've got a beautiful charred caramelised glaze. 8 skewers is going to easily feed 4 people. And in half an hour for less than $20, you've got a really quick and easy midweek meal. Serve them with a little side of the beautiful crisp baby lettuce leaves and some cucumber. Dress it with a little bit of lemon. There you have a lovely What's for Dinner dish. For this recipe and loads of others, make sure you check out coles.com.au. These pork skewers are What's for Dinner. Guys, have a beautiful festive season and as always, happy eating.
The man tasked with approving the COVID vaccine has urged the community to think about others when deciding whether to get a shot. While the vaccine won't be mandatory, Professor John Skewer says the vaccine will have to pass rigorous safety tests before rollout. He said those choosing not to get the vaccine should consider how it will impact the lives of people around them.
It's not something that you're doing for yourself. It's something you're doing for the wider family and for the public good. And that's why it's so important.
The Therapeutic Goods Administration is expected to approve use of the vaccine next month for frontline workers.
The Queen and Prince Philip will be among the first in line to be given the Pfizer COVID vaccine in coming weeks, but won't be given any preferential treatment. The first jab in Britain is expected Tuesday our time, but Russia claims to be a step ahead and has already begun its program.
Inside the St Petersburg lab, where some of the 2 million doses of the Sputnik V vaccine will be made as Russia begins its round-the-clock COVID vaccination program. I feel great, this woman says. Doctors and teachers are among the first to get the jabs here, but people over 60 and those with underlying conditions won't, with questions still about whether the vaccine is safe.
Of course I had doubts, especially given that all the clinical trials haven't ended, but I decided to go ahead and protect myself with all possible options.
It's claimed the vaccine is 92% effective, but critics believe these scenes and Russia's speed in developing and rolling out a vaccine are more about politics and pride than science and safety, as Britain aims to become the first Western nation to roll out the Pfizer vaccine this week.
So I'm going to be putting it onto your upper arm.
Nurses in Coventry have been training as the vials packed in dry ice are distributed across Britain. These special freezers are being sent out across the country too. Hospital patients will be among the first to get it, along with staff at aged care homes.
It's important, and I'm pleased that I'm not going to be at risk of passing the virus on to other people, including the residents where I work and my family and friends.
But it comes with a warning. As England emerges from its lockdown, it'll take months for the vaccination program to take full effect. In London, Hugh Whitfeld, 7 News.
Mark McGowan says the remaining $4 million costs for an inquiry into the city of Perth might be waived so that the money can help the homeless instead. Lord Mayor Basil Zemplis has met with the Premier and says the new council shouldn't be saddled with the bill.
The key here is we need to work cooperatively and make sure that anything that happens with that money is done cooperatively with the council, and there's a strong chance of a win-win solution here.
Mr McGowan has also stepped in to order Serpentine Jarrahdale Council suspend an increase in local rates that sparked a backlash from residents.
Despite a big push to support local businesses, the government concedes that start-ups run by women face more challenges than those set up by men. So the Industry Minister is stepping in, offering a financial lifeline to give more female entrepreneurs a chance to grow.
Reaching a new generation through new technology.
Thought, wow, imagine we could tell the right story at the right time in the right place if you just held your mobile phone up to a cultural site.
Michaela Jade is helping students in remote communities learn from elders about Indigenous culture through augmented reality, Minecraft and coding.
I've almost quit the company 3 times and I've had to go back to being a park ranger twice.
Partnering with tech giants Microsoft and Telstra after being rejected by investors as too high risk.
Because we were female, because we were Indigenous, because we're working in cutting edge tech and because we're doing this from regional and remote communities.
Schools with her program have fewer students skipping class and more taking coding lessons in school holidays. It's one of 51 female-founded startups receiving government grants of up to $480,000.
Female-founded businesses really struggle to get the capital that they need to grow, so the government has stepped in.
Also backing 23-year-old Stephanie Weiss, a biomedical engineering student helping women with breast cancer.
To make them feel more confident, give them their dignity back.
Printing breast prostheses for women who've had mastectomies, personalised to fit their bodies.
If I can change the lives of some of these women, that would just make me feel so good.
The government says it's committed to helping grow local businesses to boost jobs and drive the nation's economic recovery, so Australia's less reliant on international supply chains.
It's a key part of our comeback from COVID.
Empowering more women to start their own venture.
We can do this. We're totally investable.
Olivia Leeming, 7 News.
The holiday season can be hard for survivors escaping family violence, even harder if animals are caught in the middle. But they don't have to be. The state government is funding and promoting the Rspca's Pets in Crisis program, aiming to ensure no pet is left behind.
Even man's best friend can suffer from domestic violence.
They're usually quite skittish, anxious. It's not a nice feeling to see them come in and be sort of visibly shaken.
For more than 3 years, the Rspca has provided a chance for animals to recover, the Pets in Crisis program. It provides free health checks and treatment and a safe, temporary home with anonymous foster carers, usually for around 3 months, but more if needed. It's a sort of witness protection, so owners can get the help they need without extra worries.
There's a lot of women out there who would rather stay and take the abuse themselves than see the pet get the abuse.
Often animals are used as a weapon in a violent household.
The state government has committed to funding the program until 2023.
It's important that we give some assurance to women leaving violent relationships, but also with their children as well, that they know that their pets are going to be looked after.
Domestic violence rates in WA are soaring because of COVID, up 14%. Love for pets makes getting out of an abusive relationship tougher than it already is. One study's shown 35% of women put off getting refuge because they're worried what will happen if they leave their pets behind. Something a simple phone call to the Rspca can fix. Rory Campbell, 7 News.
The Great Barrier Reef has exploded to life.
Still to come, we reveal the underwater phenomenon breathing new life into Australia's great natural wonder.
Plus, how your generosity is helping a little boy who's allergic to sunlight.
How a teenager is advancing Australia with a unique version of the national anthem.
Santa drops in for an early Christmas surprise.
And coming up shortly in sport, the Wildcats take extreme measures on Fan Day, plus Virat Kohli like you've never seen him before.
By gee, it was a drop catch that Wade couldn't believe. The second Virat's dropped to the series, and then he gets run out.
In the countdown to Christmas, Better Homes gave to me heaps of yummy food, festive decorations, crazy Christmas trees, and loads more ideas and recipes. We've got every minute of Christmas covered. Merry Christmas! Better Homes Countdown to Christmas starts Monday on 7.
At Spotlight, life's what you make it. VIPs save a further 20% off when you purchase the entire vault of fabric, plus massive rugs clearance sale from $39 each. So you can make it, roll it, and decorate it for less. Sale on now. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
My son and his fiancée were looking at buying a house. I said, go and see Denise. It's at P&N Bank. They did. And as a result, now they have their own home.
This is us. P&N Bank.
Pay just $18,999 after $3,000 minimum trade-in for your old car, and by 2019 the Hyundai i30 Active Automatics with new car warranty till 2024 at John Hughes in Victoria Park.
After all that we've been through, I will make it up to you. I promise to.
Gippsland Dairy Yogurt. The taste made me do it.
Irresistibly smooth chocolate. Made to melt you. Lindor by the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
If you've been injured in a road accident, it's important to know where you stand. Talk to Australia's #1 injuries law firm. Morris Blackburn Lawyers will maximise your compensation so you can get on with your life again. Call us now. It costs nothing to know where you stand.
Since 2014, together with Oz Harvest, Woolworths has provided over 34 million meals to Aussies in need. And with your help, we want to provide 6 million more. Sharing the spirit of Christmas. Woolworths.
Now, Fuel Watch.
Perth's petrol prices brought to you by Fuel Watch and 7 News.
It's been revealed a Sydney Rugby League star, Jack de Belin, facing a sex assault retrial, has undergone surgery for testicular cancer. 29-year-old Jack de Belin reportedly went under the knife to remove the cancer in September, 2 months before his first trial began. De Belin and co-accused Callan Sinclair have pleaded not guilty over the 2018 encounter they claim was consensual.
More than $80,000 has been raised for a toddler with an incurable disorder, which means he can't be exposed to the sun. George's body can't repair damage from UV rays, increasing his risk of skin cancer by 10,000. His parents started the fundraiser so they could build him an indoor play area.
Be able to ride a bike and, kick the footy. A place for us to be able to spend time as a family as normal as possible.
It adds a level of excitement to a pretty glum sort of situation.
His parents say they'll save the leftover money for the day a cure or treatment becomes available.
Overseas, Santa has quite literally dropped in for an early Christmas surprise in Brazil. The jolly man in the big red suit ziplined down Rio de Janeiro's Sugarloaf Mountain, waving to onlookers. He took photos with children from a decorated cable car, wearing a mask for safety. Brazil's seen more than 170,000 COVID deaths.
The Wallabies took on Argentina last night, but it was a pre-game performance that stole the show. An Indigenous-themed national anthem sung in 2 languages by a teenager, inspiring goosebumps around the country.
16-year-old Olivia Fox making history. The Australian anthem sung first in the Eora language, then in English, a first on the international stage.
I was so excited. It still doesn't feel real, I feel like I'm in a dream.
The special moment still sinking in for the Western Sydney student, a proud Wiradjuri teenager, talent and hard work making for a powerful rendition.
A lot of work goes into it, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
On backup vocals, the Wallabies, who also practiced, nailing their big moment.
There's never a question. We're very proud to have that opportunity to do it, and I think it sounded pretty good too.
As for whether the Wallabies captain thinks the anthem should become permanent,
I guess that's going to be something that's going to be discussed.
From Indigenous former Wallaby Kirtley Beale on Instagram, this was special. But not all agreed. Indigenous NRL star Latrell Mitchell posting, changing the anthem's language doesn't change the meaning. For Olivia, she sees it as a step in the right direction.
I want people to hear it, I want people to learn about the Indigenous culture and, I want everyone to just unite and feel as one.
Angie Asimus, 7 News.
And we'll have highlights from on the field after the break, plus incredible pictures of a breeding snowstorm underwater. It only happens 3 days a year, and scientists say this has been the biggest and best they've seen, helping to revive the dying Great Barrier Reef and Australia's underwater tourism industry. Don't miss that story soon on 7 News.
But first, Adrian Barrett is here with sport, and there's been an SOS from our cricket team, Barra.
There has, Ange, yes. There's been mass changes too. G'day, everyone. Australia lost their captain and strike bowlers for the T20s as India flexed their muscles. And Steve Smith went on the attack after being overlooked for the captaincy.
Third time lucky for Harding.
And the Wildcats glove up to meet the fans. Plus, let's hear more about that historic dual language national anthem.
Dive in to an endless summer of stars with 7plus.
It's always fun watching you flail around in a courtroom.
1, 2, 3, 4, show me what you got.
I love you, Ally McBeal.
You know I ain't never gonna stop.
It's not like I look bad naked.
Show me what you got.
911, what's your emergency?
The shows you love.
You're a part of this family.
Plus sizzling new dramas.
You shouldn't have kissed me.
Means your next obsession is right here. Show me what you got. Streaming for free on 7plus.
For years, people have tried everything to work out which is the best tasting cola. Turns out, all it takes is a sip.
Take the Pepsi Max Taste Challenge.
At Seagulls Outdoor Furniture, sale prices are now on. The Newport sofa set now a crazy $8.99. Boston Sofa Dining $9.99. Virginia Modular $9.99. At Seagulls Outdoor Furniture, we will never be beaten on price.
Thinking about air conditioning for your home?
For that cool, comfortable feeling, you need Ambience Air.
You get more for less with Ambience Air. Save up to 30% off Fujitsu and Panasonic ducted reverse cycle systems. Save hundreds on Breeze Air whole home evaporative coolers. Invest now with our easy finance solutions. Contact us and find out why it's more comfortable choosing Ambience Air.
Call Ambience Air.
Hey, Nina, there's more where that came from. I'm filled with hair, soap and dirt you can't reach.
New Easy Off Drain Turbo Gel's powerful formula quickly powers through tough clogs and eliminates odours. New Easy Off Drain Turbo Gel.
So, what do you want for Christmas?
Ben here is a bumbling boyfriend, otherwise known as a tricky one. Get them a Lottery West gift pack this Christmas.
Well, it's time for wrinkles. Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair. We've got the retinol that gives you results in 1 week. Not just any retinol, accelerated retinol SA. 1 week, it's all it takes. Neutrogena.
Whoa, a tablet!
How'd you manage that?
Third drawdown boosted the budget.
This year, trading in selected phones for bill credit can help make gifting more affordable.
Looks like you need a towel.
Need a new car more.
Well, you've picked a great time. We've got a finance offer to celebrate the end of 2020.
Make any excuse this play clearance. Get CHR 2-wheel drive GXL from $99 per week with Toyota Access. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Tonight's Sport Report brought to you by the new Toyota Hilux. Awaken your unbreakable today.
Australia is fighting to keep their T20 series alive with India tonight in Game 2 at the SCG. Marcus Stoinis returned for the Aussies. Danny Sams was named to debut, while AJ Tye was called in for his first international appearance in 2 years. Stand-in skipper Matthew Wade quickly showed leadership agrees with him, smashing 58 off 32 before losing his wicket in a bizarre mix-up.
Nicely done. No, it's not! Juggled 3 times. The captain should be a run out. There is. It's horrible out in the middle. In the end, Wade will have to depart. By gee, it was a drop catch that Wade couldn't believe. The second Virat's drop to the series. And then he gets run out. Calamity of errors.
Steve Smith was warming up nicely on 46 off 37 balls before falling just short of the rope. Set a target of 195. India are currently 1 for 66 after 8 overs. And one player not playing tonight is Mitchell Starc, who was off on compassionate leave for a family illness. But the Aussies could have the perfect replacement with James Pattinson taking 3 wickets for Australia A against India A today.
Will Pucovski had to wait. Locked-out fans had to watch a near Test Standard Tour match through the Drummoyne Oval fence. Australia's fringe paceman struck crucial early blows.
Is that the first wicket of the match? It is.
Nisa and Pattinson removed Shubman Gill and Prithvi Shaw for ducks. 2 hyped young guns denied critical time at the crease. Cameron Green impressed with the ball.
Look at that carry through.
But Pujara and Rahana carried on from last tour. Plenty to ponder for Tim Payne.
Lovely shot, bit of a flourish.
Pujara fell to Pattinson for 54.
Got him, out.
That's straight into the plans for the first test, and Pattinson's ready to rumble if required.
Pattinson likes it and it's given.
And he might be needed, with the out-of-sorts Mitchell Starc now on leave due to a family illness 11 days before the series starts in Adelaide. Rahane, who'll replace Virat Kohli as Indian captain after the first test, started his tour with a classy ton. Unbeaten after a day that whets the appetite for the big contest.
It's a big appeal, it's out.
Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
To footy now, North Melbourne recruit Jaden Stevenson says he's buried the hatchet with Collingwood coach Nathan Buckley and has no hard feelings despite a messy exit from the Pies.
As a Heart Kids ambassador, Jaden Stevenson helps little hearts in need.
Strawberries for Heart Kids.
But you'd understand if he was still recovering from a broken heart after Collingwood pushed him out the door to free up salary cap space.
I have no hard feelings towards Bucks, and we've certainly just put it to rest. I'd hate to have the list management or the GM sort of job, so I feel for them, and they are only doing their best also.
The 21-year-old says 95% of Collingwood players have reached out to show their support, and he's been inundated by angry Magpies fans wishing him well at North Melbourne.
They were all certainly in my corner and said they're looking forward to watching me play next year, and they'll support me all the way. Whether it actually comes, I don't know, but a few boos here and there are actually pretty funny.
Stevenson's already played golf with his new Kangaroos teammates and has met up with new coach David Noble, who wants to see him spend more time in the midfield.
Made it a pretty easy decision, being not wanted, and you're going to go where you wanted, and North Melbourne certainly made me feel that way.
Stevenson found out he had a genetic heart condition during his AFL draft screening as an 18-year-old.
Just putting a little smile on their face because they've had it pretty tough, and although I'm standing here with a heart condition also, I haven't had the surgeries, I haven't gone through the episodes, the strokes that these young ones have, so I can only imagine how their families feel.
He's been taking medicine that allows him to play, and I sometimes look up to him as a hero, basically.
Sean Sowerby, 7 News.
The Wallabies are pleading with fans to keep the faith, but the Tri-Nations finale will always be remembered for the Indigenous-themed national anthem. But it all went downhill from there, though. A test match spoiled by contentious yellow cards and a red card even, with a performance that the Wallabies admit wasn't good enough. 16-all, their second straight draw with the depleted Argentina. It left Australia with one win from their first 6 tests this year.
It has been really good, but without results, it doesn't show to everyone else. And you know, we're desperate for that.
We've got so much more in us, and looking forward to showing that next year.
Hundreds of basketball fans turned out today for the Perth Wildcats Fan Day at RAC Arena. And due to COVID-19 legislation, everyone had to register using the Safe WA app. The players even wore gloves. The Wildcats will begin their championship defence with a grand final rematch at RAC Arena on January 15. Manchester United are back in the Premier League top 4 after another comeback win. With coronavirus restrictions eased in London, West Ham became the first club in 9 months to allow fans in, but they wouldn't have liked what they saw.
Oh, what a finish from Paul Pogba. That's what he can do. It's a stunning goal.
United scored 3 second-half goals in 13 minutes as they ran out 3-1 winners. Timo Werner somehow missed from point-blank range, but it didn't stop Chelsea from moving to the top of the table with a 3-1 win over Leeds. And World Rally Championship Elfyn Evans all but gave up the title after crashing out in icy and dangerous conditions in the second stage.
You okay?
The Italian Alps proved treacherous for the drivers but provided a good photo op for the spectators. And it was a big night at the Motorplex with the staging of the John Day Classic for speed cars and the WA Sprint Car title. Tom Pyatt took out the sprint cars while Caden Manders posted his first sprint car win.
What does that win mean to you?
Yeah, everything. You know, to win the WA Sprint Car title is pretty surreal. Something I dreamed of since I was a kid.
OK, so he dreamt of winning the sprint cars as a kid. I dreamt of playing for Carlton. What about you guys? What did you dream of?
A vet at one point.
Oh, you've been a good vet. You
An
love
architect for me at one point.
Really?
That dream died a long time ago.
Bit boring, too boring, was it?
I think so. Maybe didn't quite have the skills for it.
Good choice, mate.
Thanks, Barra.
Thanks, Barra. Queensland's Great Barrier Reef is on most Australians' bucket lists and has come alive for what scientists are calling an underwater breeding snowstorm.
The annual coral spawning phenomenon is being closely watched, with the reef's regeneration crucial to its long-term survival in warming waters.
When the moon sets the mood and the waters are warm, Mother Nature takes over and there's sex on the reef.
Pretty much corals are having babies.
Timing is everything for this perfectly coordinated act.
When we jumped in the water last night, we were met with an underwater snowstorm of just tiny pinhead-sized bundles containing both sperm and egg.
Scientists still can't predict exactly where and when the spawning will happen.
When you see the eggs come out and the sperm come out from the rocks, you realise that it actually is a living organism.
It lasts for 3 nights and only happens once a year. The new life is essential to the Great Barrier Reef's regeneration and recovery.
The stronger corals go on to live. They sort of pass on their genes, and so it helps to provide a stronger reef.
Which is more important than ever after the reef experienced its 3rd mass bleaching in 5 years.
Scientists have called this year's event spectacular and say it's the best coral spawning they've seen in more than a decade.
We actually lost count of the amount of different species that were spawning at the same time.
Ready for round 2 tonight. Georgia Terry, 7 News.
It's heating up across Perth.
Stay with us. I'll have your weather forecast after the break.
He's trying to protect the most hunted man in the world, Ryan Reynolds. Denzel Washington, Safe House, tonight on 7.
This Christmas, share succulent, award-winning Woolworths half-leg ham. 100% Australian pork, now just $9 a kilo. Helping you share the spirit of Christmas. Woolworths.
Make your move and make it undeniably yours. The BMW 118i, $149 per week at 4.99% per annum. Business customers only. Search BMW 1 Series.
This is an actual event. It could happen to anyone. Stephen Brown lawyers can tell you how much your claim is really worth. It's no win, no fee. Call 13-HURT.
It's Retrovision's 24 days of Christmas giveaways with huge store-wide savings. Plus, your chance to win awesome prizes every day, including the grand prize of a Nissan Juke TI. Retrovision's 24 days of Christmas giveaways. On now, in-store and online.
Now imagine having moments like this with Set for Life. Win $20,000 a month for 20 years.
You want me to help you and your buddies to beat up your grandsons because the two of you can't live in the same house? I'm in.
I want my room back!
The War with Grandpa in cinemas now.
We live in a changing world. That's why Curtin University is here to provide students with a global perspective. So if you're ready for change, join us.
Can one little light bulb change the world? That depends on how many of us change one little light bulb. IKEA.
To anyone else, this is just a car. But to the Johnsons, it's an adventure machine. At RAC Insurance, we see what you see. Get local insurance plus great member benefits. That's the power of membership. RAC Insurance. For the better.
And she's got trouble with the power of walking on her legs. If I wasn't around, she wouldn't be able to cope by herself. Simple as that.
Caring can impact your emotional and physical resilience. Ensure you get the support you deserve.
Morning! Hi.
Don't let hay fever control your life. Choose Telfast, Australia's #1 allergy brand from Chemist Warehouse. It provides fast, non-drowsy relief from hay fever symptoms. So shut the door on hay fever and open up your world with Telfast.
I saw them. I knew they were gone.
The most powerful story of the year.
half your family in one go.
What you will see will touch every Australian.
These 4 kids are special.
7 News presents In the Blink of an Eye.
Next.
This weather report brought to you by Telfast, available from Chemist Warehouse.
The heat will be turned up this week, and today it got to 25 after a low of 12.8 this morning. Southern WA is clear tonight, but there are plenty of storms in the Kimberley. A high will dominate the weather pattern for the next few days, and a west coast trough will make for a hot spell. Interstate, morning showers and windy for Adelaide, cool, wet and stormy for Melbourne, damp in Hobart, Sydney sunny and warm, showers and storms for Brisbane, 34 the top. Broome will see similar weather, late storms for Exmouth, sunny and 31 for Kalgoorlie, soaring to 38 in Geraldton tomorrow, warm for Bunbury, but staying in the low 20s on the south coast. On local waters, winds will reach 25 knots early afternoon, seas reaching 2 metres. So it'll drop to the mid-teens across the metro area tonight, and we'll see more sunshine tomorrow, reaching 33 in Perth, then getting up to 39 Tuesday with a chance of late storms, 33 Wednesday with a morning storm possible, then a sunny afternoon, 32 Thursday with the risk of unsettled weather later in the day, 33 and partly cloudy Friday, then cooler next weekend.
That is 7 News for this Sunday. Thanks for joining us.
I'll be back with updates. For the latest news, head to our website. Stay with us now for 7 News Spotlight in the Blink of an Eye.